Welcome back. We are going to spotlight this Rhea Ripley tweet from May 14th, which garnered a lot of attention, and it was directed at women's wrestling fans. And it says, women's wrestling fan, quote, women deserve better. Same breath, quote, she's sleeping with her boss. That's why she's where she is. She should retire. She doesn't deserve it. She's handed everything and never worked for anything. I hope she gets injured. You guys are the real reason it's so difficult to be taken seriously as a women's wrestler. If you put as much effort into your own miserable lives as you put into degrading successful women, then maybe you would accomplish something yourself. I'll play devil's advocate on this topic, but first let me say, please excuse my nasally sounding voice. I am really getting hit hard with allergies right now, and I'm trying to work through it. So this is a double-edged sword. Number one, the women have never gotten more time or exposure on television than they have in the last couple years, which is due to there being more talented female wrestlers now than there ever was before. That being said, the most talented female wrestler on the WWE roster is probably still only half as talented as the least talented male. And I don't say that to be sexist, but I say that because it's true. Simply in terms of physical capabilities, I mean, the males are always more athletic. It just, that's the way it happens. I mean, like rare cases where it's the opposite. So to prove my point, I'm going to say we'll take a very low-rated WWE male talent, like, say, I don't know, guy's a jobber, Austin Theory. Take Austin Theory, okay? We'll put Austin Theory over here. Say you have Austin Theory, and just in terms of athleticism, who do we want to pick from the women's? Say we could use Rhea Ripley. Who's going to be more athletic? It's not Rhea. I'm sorry. It just never. It will never be Rhea. There's no way. I mean, Austin Theory's like a complete washout jobber, but still 100 times more athletic than Rhea Ripley. But and I work on the independent scene with some very talented females, and I just, you're never going to sell me on the mainstream level that, say on Monday Night Raw, we have 4 matches, that 2 of them need to be women's matches. In a 2.5-hour show, you're going to give me one good to solid women's match, and then you're going to give me one that is literally a bathroom break match. I mean, they're going to have another women's Evolution pay-per-view. I'll watch it. Because it'll showcase some of the female talent. But I'm sorry, Rhea. Nobody is, and the people that are saying this, look, this is not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying this. I'm simply saying that there is if you're going, and this is what the women want. This is the buzzword. They want equity. They want equitable treatment on television. Well, equity is not equality. Equity is taking away from and giving to somebody else. That's not just adding. Because in a 2.5-hour, you can just add more time to the show just to encompass more subpar to mediocre women's wrestling. Why? And please spare me they're good looking. Well, 90% of them are very attractive women. But I don't give a shit. We had really hot women back in the 90s, and we only saw them for 2 or 3 minutes a night, and it left you wanting more. This is just a bad idea because there isn't this mass. I mean, yeah, okay, so will the women's pay-per-view, will it sell well in terms of tickets? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to sell, how they're selling. I'd have to look it up. But for that to be a sustainable model, if they really want this, the way WWE and TKO are just throwing content out there, why don't you just add a women's show, an all-women's show then? if that's what you want. But do an all-men show, too, then. Wait, we can't do that because it's sexist? Oh. So, what are we talking about, then? Why are we even discussing this? Who makes the majority of the money here? I know Rhea Ripley is a draw. She's a financial draw. She's a talented woman. She has a great look. She is very attractive. She has a fantastic in-ring presence. She's good on the microphone. I know a lot of other YouTubers like, she's boring, she's a jobber, blah, blah, blah. You can't, in all good faith, say that. You can't. Does she make mistakes in the ring? Absolutely. Show me somebody that doesn't, though. Show me somebody that doesn't make mistakes. And I'm not just taking it for Rhea Ripley, because I think some parts of her statement are just, I don't know, it seems like insecurity. And I know what you're thinking, what does she have to be insecure about? Well, you'd be surprised what people in positions of power are insecure about. I'm not saying that any of the things that she pointed out, like you sleeping with her boss, she should retire, blah, 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 she doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying any of those things about Rhea. She's earned her spot. She deserves her success. But we don't, I'm putting the women in the main events on Raw week after week and then following it up with a promo that's more exciting than the main event is just doing them a disservice. I mean, at least the writing for the women has gotten better. I'll say that. But still, to say we need, 2 women's matches and, all these segments backstage, you don't. Because it's just taking away from the whole theme of the show or the flow of the show when half the angles don't go anywhere. I mean, look what we had to do here, because the women have to have everything the same as the men, which just takes away from everything. Women's Money in the Bank, Women's Royal Rumble, Women's Elimination Chamber, Women's Survivor Series matches. I'm sorry, it's fucking stupid. Give them their own things. Like Evolution, okay, cool. We've got a women's pay-per-view. But just giving them the same things as the men and saying, it's time for the women's Money in the Bank. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody cares. You don't need a women's elimination chamber. Why? It's ridiculous. You don't need a women's Royal Rumble. That show drags on so long with 2 Rumble matches in one show. Do you realize how stupid that is? It's as dumb as having 2 women's world titles, 2 women's mid-card titles, and women's tag titles that you've only got one cohesive team in the entire company now. You released, what was it? Caden Carter and Katana Chance. They were a shitty tag team, but they were a tag team. Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, another tag team. And you released Jakara Jackson. So you have it, and then Liv, one half of the tag team champions, is gone for, a month or so filming a movie. So you've got your belts just sitting there in limbo now. Your mid-card titles, you put the Intercontinental title on somebody who's never going to get over. She's not over. Becky Lynch won't be able to get her over. Lyra Valkyria, she's terrible. She's terrible. Then you have Chelsea Green, who actually elevated the women's U.S. title, and you're like, no, we need to put it on 100-pound Zelina Vega just because she deserves it. Why does she deserve it? Just because she's been there, though? She's 100 pounds. Chelsea Green is a financial draw. She's a much better worker. She has presence. She has aura. She has charisma. She's great on the microphone. When she enters, when her music hits, it's an event. Are people plopping down money to see Zelina Vega? Are they going out and buying Zelina Vega merch? Are they going out and, specifically looking up Zelina Vega clips? Are they some of the most viewed clips on social media? No, I'll guarantee you they're not. Because nobody gives a fuck about Zelina Vega. Nobody cares. Outside of her fucking husband. Like, that's the only reason they did this. They're like, oh, Aleister Black's coming back. We got to do something to make him happy. Let's put the title on his wife and take it off a woman that actually draws money. And this just leads to the root of all of these problems. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Triple H is an idiot. He is a complete moron. And he has no business being in charge of anything creative. And for him to be expected to come up with anything new or original, is ridiculous. That's why you just see all the women getting the same things the men have, which dilutes everything else. So does Rhea have some, could, because there is a sect of wrestling fans, and there's going to be some people in the comments that are, oh my God, I can't believe how misogynistic he is. No, I'm not saying we don't need women's wrestling. I'm saying make it an event that means something instead of just trying to be equitable about it, because the concept of equity is for smooth brains. It really is, because it's just taking away something that already is somebody else's. And this whole thing, it makes me laugh. It really does, because it's humorous. Wrestling has made money for years and years and years, and all of a sudden, just because people on Twitter say that we need this doesn't mean we need it, because Twitter doesn't translate into dollars. All Twitter is the town square that it's free for these neckbeards to scream into and say, this is what we want. We need this because it's fair.
Shut up, bitch!
Are there women who are financial draws? Yeah, there's a handful, and that's it. There's many, many, many more male wrestlers that draw actual money. Yeah, a lot of the guys that are just casual fans, they like to look at the attractive women in their skimpy outfits. Absolutely. Wrestling fans, I don't want to see a female in the ring unless she can work. And if you're a worker who can't work, then you're not a worker, you're a glorified manager. And I'll give Maxine Dupree credit because she went out and learned how to wrestle. Good for her. She's improved a lot. She did a great job in the Royal Rumble this year. That being said, I still don't need 3 to 4 women's segments every Monday and Friday night, because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. You could put something else on to make your show better, because adding more of this has not made your show better, because this was the worst build-up to WrestleMania, including the Women's World Title feud, the worst WrestleMania, and post-WrestleMania, this has just gotten even more sad. Rhea Ripley crying on Twitter isn't going to help anything either. I say I'm a fan of hers. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in the comments below. Am I out of pocket or not? Subscribe if you haven't yet for more wrestling content and horror, too. I'm Pete from Wrestling with Horror. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow. I'll catch you on the next one. Remember, it's always better to burn out
than to fade away.